everybody. Feature Friday Furlough, Gensen Gisborne here. I'm really excited to be hosting today. So many big things happening, so much going on. Very excited, very excited. It looks like everyone's piling into the chat. Hello to, let's see, who do we got here? We got John, we got Roslyn, we got Tristan, Pablo. Nice to see everyone out. If you're in the chat, if you're watching the stream, make sure you're part of the chat. Okay, so very excited. Today we've got co-host is the co-founder of Furlough, Ophir Gadot, and we're very excited to have him here. We got lots of questions for our guest.
Hey,
where is
Gensen.
he? Coming in. There he is. There he is.
To have you around with us today. I mean, very beautiful addition to the team. Look at you,
I appreciate it.
On Friday.
Absolutely. I'm happy it's Friday, man. Get me loosened up for the weekend a little bit.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I had so many questions for Joe for a long time about DAO, crypto, and shit. I mean, let's just get all cranked up today.
Hey, man, when I joined back in November, I didn't even know what Web3 was. So this is all brand new to me too. I'm really excited to learn today. But I guess that's the best segue into introducing who our guest is today. We have Joseph Casanova, founder of Furlough, and he's going to be here. We're going to be chatting about Web3 and just some exciting things that are going on in the Furlough community. All right. Where is he? There he is.
I am hyped to be here. Shout out to you guys. How you guys doing? Super excited to be back on the stream. Feature Friday, Fireside Chat. I have been pushing off this conversation with Web3, blockchain, crypto, NFTs. I haven't posted on social media in a while. So if you're here from my social media, I miss you guys. I feel like talking about stuff without having anything that's done to show for it. It's just, I'm not. I let the work show for you. So I feel like we've gotten finally to a place and the hype is real. And I mean, I'm excited to kind of start sharing and unlifting the veil, as one would say.
Oh.
Well, we're excited. We got lots of questions. I know Ophir and me are really excited to be doing this today. I, for one, have tons of questions about Web3, about crypto, blockchain, NFTs, the whole deal. I think the biggest question that everyone's coming to the table with is, just give us the rundown on Web3. Like, why does it matter, and what are we looking at when we're staring down that barrel of Web3?
Oh, for sure. So, I mean, in order to understand Web3, we got to understand Web 2 and Web 1. And in the simplest form, Web 1 was when we were broadcasting, right? Web 2 was sharing, and Web 3 is ownership. And, in this space, especially now, it's like, oh, everyone's getting rich. Everyone's getting rich. And it's like, the reality is, I mean, this might be a bold statement, but I said this earlier in the chat, and it really stuck with me. And I truly believe the largest transfer of wealth, it's coming. And we are so early. And if you look at kind of, what blockchain is going to do as technology, this is the internet. What the internet did, this is the mobile phone. And we are still on BlackBerry. The iPhone hasn't come out on blockchain. These companies are building. And I mean, the market pulled back tremendously. And people like me are excited at the fact that the market pulled back, because in the bear market, we build. And in the bull market, we get this attention, and it's going to be insane, especially, some of the things we got in store I'm super hyped about. But yeah, so Web3, it's really having your claim, your ownership to the internet, and it's get involved.
Well, I have to ask a follow-up question on this. What do you mean when you say ownership?
Ownership. So
right now, for example, I have an Instagram account. I have 2 million followers. I can get banned by Instagram in a second, right?
Yes.
So how is it going to change?
Yeah, because you don't own that. Instagram owns their account, right? So if you look at something like, with blockchain, it's not that you necessarily own, right, the currency. The currency still lives on the blockchain. The utility, all that still lives on the blockchain. Your wallet, okay, is simply the key to transfer ownership of those digital assets. And that's all this is. This Web3 space is digital assets that you can control. Right? In Web 2, it was digital assets that Instagram owns, that Facebook owns, right? That Google owns. And now you have the keys. And that's the beauty about it, right? With Web 1, you kind of signed up with your email. Web 2, you could sign up with Google. You could sign up with Facebook. In Web 3, you sign up with your wallet. Because in this Web 3 environment, it's the transfer of assets, the transfer of money, right? That all your keys decide where the transfer goes. And that's what I mean by ownership. Do you actually own the NFTs on the blockchain or the crypto? No, but you can decide if it transfers to ownership in the sense that Gensen now has control of this NFT, or you have control of that currency. Hope that made sense. Yeah,
right on. That
right.
actually shines a ton of light on me. Just before we get on, I see we got Eric and Bruno. We got Parth piling into chat. Welcome everybody. Darius, absolutely, really awesome to see everybody in the chat. I think one of the biggest questions I have personally, I've been on the sales side of things for a long time. I think what I would want to know, and what I think other people in my position would want to know, like, how can businesses really make the most and really exploit opportunities when it comes to Web3?
For sure. And I'm already seeing this happen, especially, I kind of have it. So we have Web3, but the reality is Web3 is built off Web2 services. Okay. And, I know you're going to ask me at some point about my hot take, and it really is that this decentralization that there's still a form of centralization that's holding the control. At any point, right, any of these projects, okay, let's look at Facebook and Meta, right? Meta builds this metaverse. Where do you think this metaverse is stored? It's stored on Facebook servers, right? Their developers are building. And at any point, the developers go, we're done. And what happens to Meta? Does it continue to soar? No, the infrastructure is there. So there is still a form of centralization. Now, how can people get involved? How can, right? And if you look at the music industry, the labels are scared. And you have platforms like sound.xyz where artists are now releasing music as NFTs, which are digital assets in the slightest form. And if you hear about buying land in the metaverse, you're buying NFTs. That's all it is. An NFT is a digital asset, and a token is a digital currency. Like, those are really the two places of when it goes to on blockchain. Now, how can a company make the most of this? Well, you look at, let's say, someone who's selling a course, right? Anyone that's selling any type of education online, instead of selling a subscription model, right? They can sell a one-time payment, which is lifetime access to whatever the subscription offers. So let's say an academy. Now, as a supporter of you just started this academy. I bought your NFT. I now have lifetime access to all your courses, and your academy is now picking up wind, and people are hyped. And you're like, I'm bumping up the subscription cost. I still have lifetime access. I was one of your early supporters. I have, your cost of your subscription, your monthly recurring revenue, it doesn't affect me because I still have lifetime access. Now, I've studied everything in your academy. I've learned everything. And now, since I'm your early supporter, I can go ahead and sell that NFT to Ophir. So now he has that lifetime access to you. So by being your early supporters, I'm rewarded in a sense. And the beauty about, I think with NFTs and crypto, it's this new way of fundraising. Okay, and I could take it even further. A buddy of mine, Pete Diaz Production, he's done events from J-Lo's 40th birthday party to all of Bacardi's collection. Fantastic, production company. And he's always wanted to launch his own events. He's like, I'm taking on all the risk. I have to put up all the money. I have to hire all the workers. And then what if it rains? And then if it rains, like my party, I make no revenue and I lost all the money. I took on the risk. Now, if he wanted to, as an event production company, he can say, I'm going to release let's say the capacity to a party is 1,000 people. Before he even decides to throw a party, he can pre-sell tickets, which is 1,000 NFTs, and fundraise and use that money that's revenue driven from the NFT collection to say all those that have NFTs now have access to the event. And they can use this NFT to get access to an event. Let's say he sells 1,000 tickets or 1,000 NFTs at $1,000. He can throw $1 million event. And to take this even further, okay, and that I hope you guys are following on because this is a really cool concept and I've been playing with it for a long time. Let's say with that NFT ticket, you go to the event, and now by checking in, a proof of attendance, the NFT now changes, which shows that you used that ticket. So besides having a ticket to the event, you have proof that you were at the event, okay? Let's say he wants to throw another event. And now, because you showed up to the last event and now you bought the NFT to the next event, you have 2 tickets. You're a big supporter. Congratulations. Now you have VIP because you attended multiple times, right? And every industry is different. Music is very different. Events is very different. And entrepreneurship, digital services, SaaS, they're all very different, but it can be utilized. And it's very unique case by case for, whichever business venture and however you want to maximize it.
Whoa. That's a lot.
You're running.
Oh man, it's the first time. It's the first time I've heard it. I've heard it kind of put like that. It's it kind of makes it sound like we had these companies before that were they were controlling the gate, and these NFTs and Web3 is kind of putting the keys back in the hands of the people who are engaging with everything behind that gate. It's wow. Wow, that event analogy kind of blew my mind. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, because my friends say that they have this whole beef with the metaverse, and like the metaverse, everyone thinks it's one metaverse to rule them all, but the reality is like we are in a metaverse right now. Ophir, Gensen, myself, Tristan, Rosalind, Eric, Darius, everyone, Parth, all you guys here, we're in this little metaverse here, okay? And there are going to be multiple metaverses that live. Fortnite is a metaverse, right? And their whole thing is like, I don't see everybody just putting on these goggles and just living in this alternate world. And it's like, yeah, well, there are people out there that care about their digital lives more than their actual, right? And it's going to happen, and it's going to be just as disruptive as, the cell phone was and what email, right? We're in the stage of email, okay? And now they're building, and it's just so exciting. And some of you might think we're late, right? Or you're late and you're hesitant, but it's so early, okay? And I'll tell you, the people that are most excited are the ones building. And I'm hoping to share some of the things that we're building with you guys today, so.
Quick question on this. Oh,
of course.
Is what you're saying is all pointing back to decentralization? And how do you see enterprises kind of react with this trend that is favoring small businesses and individuals?
Yeah, because the thing with enterprises, right, they still want to own their assets. So the fact to think that an enterprise is going to go into a Decentraland or sandbox and then just say oh, we don't own anything we do and it's all decentralized. It's, you have enterprise, they have budgets. They can ultimately build their own metaverses, or they can, Lamborghini is dropping an NFT collection. Adidas just dropped an NFT collection that they brought millions. I think it was 10 digits, I believe. Don't quote me on that, please. Wait, no, I'm sorry. 8 digits. Not 10 digits. Yeah, that's a lot. It was an 8-digit performance. And I was like, wow, this is a proof of concept, and they're going to be rolling out. Nike's doing, digital shoes in the NFT as NFTs, and it goes back to the same question. And as you take a step back and you look at enterprises, it's not a single answer I can give you. It's generally case by case of how these enterprises can really make the most of it. So, I know it was kind of a cheap answer, wasn't it, Ophir? Not what you're looking for.
I have follow-up questions, but let's go.
Let's go.
I feel like it's impossible to touch on the whole Web3 space without kind of really going down the rabbit hole on blockchain and crypto, and kind of how that all ties in to why this is important. You know what I mean? I feel like these things, you can't pull these things apart. Can you kind of weigh in on that?
Yeah, and I'll be I'm much more bullish on NFTs than I am on crypto. Okay, and crypto, you look at these currencies, you're like, wow, there's so many coins and so many tokens, and the way you operate in this Web3 space, right? You look at I'm getting feedback. All right, so
no, Ophir, we still got feedback from you.
Oh my.
All right, so the way that you operate in this Web3 space, right? In order to operate with I would say Ethereum, but I want to get even more specific with these companies like Augur, with these companies like Golem, with these companies like Filecoin, right? Let's use Filecoin, right? Decentralized storage. Okay, think about Amazon Web Services on as crypto, and in order to use this service, you have to use Bitcoin is peer-to-peer transactions. Okay, Ethereum is peer-to-peer transactions with these things called dApps. And dApps are decentralized apps, decentralized applications, all right? In order to operate and use these decentralized applications, you need to have their native token, all right? As simple as that. So when you look at the currencies, these currencies have utility. And it goes back, these art projects that you're seeing of a penguin that's sold for $100,000, these projects are not going to sustain themselves, because it goes back to utility. And you see projects like Bored Ape Yacht Club, those will stick around. Why? Because the utility of that art piece is actually a key. And that key gives you access to a community of celebrities that, like you buy a Bored Ape Yacht Club for $250,000, you're with a tight group of people who spent $250,000 on a monkey picture. And now you're in the same lights of Odell Beckham Jr. and all these, Nelk Boys and 11 Nightclub and all these big players that just bought this, this tight grip community, which that goes back. And it's so exciting with Furlough and this Furlough community. With Web3, we've been building this community for well over, a year, 2 years now. And we are not a Web3 organization, but we are positioned very well with Web3 because we're already such a tight community.
All right. Well, that makes me get it. It looks like we're still getting a little bit of feedback through Ophir's mic there. That's all right though. We just let's see what else is going on in chat. It looks like people asking about the metaverse. We've got people who are interested, Joe. We've got people who are looking, who are excited, and
I see a law over there with the metaverse only available in the US. It's not. You just need a wallet, and you could access. By the way, you can access metaverses today. Go to decentraland.com. Do I think that it's there yet? That we're going to be in it day to day? No. And a conversation was funny. I was having a conversation yesterday about regulations and nothing is going to be big and because of the regulations. And to be very clear, when it comes down to crypto, all the big leaders in the crypto, from the CEO of Coinbase to FTX to OpenSea, are actively meeting with the government for regulations. We want regulations because that's how we go from $1 trillion, market cap across all these, the entire cryptocurrency market to 100 trillion, and it's very possible. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, especially when this transfer of wealth that happens. Where are these millennials that inherit all the money from their grandparents and the boomers? Where are they going to put their money to? They're going to go buy Shiba or buy Dogecoin and all those things. So,
well, that's crazy. It's these things that, I guess they're obvious, but they aren't until you put them out in the daylight. You start talking about them and the implications, they're nuts. It's nuts. The amount of change and the amount of shift is going to be astronomical. I guess, kind of bringing it all back to Furlough. What are you excited about right now? What's the big thing on your plate that you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, I'm hyped. This is I've been trying to bite my tongue about it because I hate talking about stuff without actually doing, having anything to show for it. A lot of people, I'm from Miami, a lot of people want to talk. Sunny Place, shady people. And everyone wants to talk about what they're doing. No one wants to show what they're doing. And with this specifically, with this community, we've been doing this community for hot minute and super excited. I put everything I can, and it's inspired people like yourselves, Gensen, and you, Rosalind, and Ophir, and everyone to go ahead and put in. And we've created this freaking awesome culture of just professionals delivering at a high level, consulting each other without asking for anything in return. Now, the reality is that you look at Furlough, and yes, I'm the founder, and it's he's the owner, and it's you can't own a community. The community is owned by the people that make it up, right? So the next step, right? I talk to these influencers a lot, and I'm like, do you have an audience or do you have a community? And if you're on TikTok, you probably have an audience, people that know who you are and they listen to your message, but are they really engaging with each other? Now you look at Furlough, and we are talking to you guys in our community, but you guys actively are using our collab rooms and having our own private conversations and talking to each other with the, and communities are really just interest-based groups. Now, with Web 3.0, what is the logical next step to that? Remember how I said Web 3.0 is ownership, Web 2.0 is sharing, Web 1.0 is broadcasting, right? Let's look at an audience.
Yeah.
An audience is broadcasting. That's okay. Web 1.0, right? Let's look at a community. That's Web 2.0. We're broadcasting and they're sharing amongst each other. So how do you claim ownership in Web 3.0, specifically in a community? And this is by far what I'm very excited about. And it goes down to DAOs, not to be confused with the Dow Jones, okay? This is known as decentralized autonomous organization, okay? And any community can ultimately become a DAO. And what does that mean? And DAOs are governed by either a cryptocurrency or an NFT, right? In the case that I'm hoping that we're building, and we're doing this on Solana, we'll get into that, in a little bit. And what we're hoping to do is that we're releasing NFTs. All the money that is being made, right, to buy the NFT goes into a treasury, okay? And anyone that has this NFT can now vote on what the treasury does. So what this does in Web 3.0 is gives the people part of the community ownership, because they can say, I vote on how this money gets spent. And now this community has a budget that they can go, and their interest, right? This is communities are interest-based groups. They can decide, you know what, with this $100,000, all 100 of us in this DAO are going to put our resources together, this budget together, and we're going to go boost this company. We're going to go build something that's never been done before. And I am so excited about DAOs. It's what keeps me up at night.
Like, honestly, I'm just being a part of it all, like just hearing about it and kind of seeing some of the things that are going on behind the scenes. Like, it's you know, I haven't been here anywhere near as long as some people, but it's drawn me in, man. I feel you. I'm not sleeping, and I'm excited. I come in with the energy every day, and yeah, no, everything we're doing here is getting me fired up, getting the team fired up, getting the community fired up. It's wild. It's a wild ride. It's a wild thing to be a part of.
For sure. And you know, I gotta say, pat myself. I never said that Web 1, Web 2, Web 3 audience, community, and DAOs. Never said that before. And I thought that was such a great illustration here. And I'm glad to have Ophir back and fix the audio issue. Ophir, how you doing?
Audio is good now?
Yeah, it is perfect.
Oh, what's going on? Tell me, just how does it come to real life in terms of DAO within the community? How do you see it like actually being communicated within the community?
Yeah, so I mean, what you see with these projects, right? And I think the biggest issue with these projects is the fact that they release, let's say, 10,000 NFTs, and then they build the community based off the hype of the NFTs. And then once they have the revenue from the NFTs, they have the whole thing that they're selling on is the promises of our roadmap and what we would deliver, right? And then they try to cultivate this community based off of this interest. Now, look at what we did. We flipped the script. Cultivated a community, and then we're rolling a DAO into it. Now, the big difference here, okay, which I think this is why when it comes to the great wipe of 95% of these projects, the floor crashing below them, the floor price, and all these projects end up being rendered useless in the sense of like their value. The difference is, you know, we have an established community, and instead of rolling out 10,000 NFTs at once, the big difference is that we're going to do is auction off one a day. And that one a day, we're creating very low supply. We already have a great demand. We already are very tight. We have, we're an interest-based group. In this case, it's entrepreneurship, it's e-commerce, it's SaaS, it's digital, work from home, remote, nomads, all sorts. And the way I see this kind of rolling out into the community, especially, is that, I don't want money to be the only way you can get into this DAO. And this whole space is just like money. It's just so slimy, to be honest. I don't really like a lot of the people in the crypto space. I think Art Basel was destroyed by cryptos and NFT, all those players. But going back to this DAO, the way that you can actually be a part of this DAO is one of three ways. The first way, which is the initial auction, which is daily auction. You can just buy in, and that goes into the treasury. Okay. The second way is the secondary market. If you go to a platform like OpenSea, in our case, it's Solana Art, it's FTX, it's a Solana version of an NFT marketplace, and you go buy it on the secondary market. The third way is basically the whole entire culture we have established here, and it's providing services to the community, right?
Yeah.
So the compensation that because I believe in transparency, and it's like, how are you guys making money? And
yeah, we've had to deal with that question recently.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, my pockets are burning because I'm trying to put everything in here, and I should probably listen to the book of Babylon that says pay yourself first. And I just refuse to, because I think we're doing something so fantastic here. And the DAO itself, the compensation that we will get as founders of the DAO is not, like money. It's not, we're not getting compensated we're actually being compensated. Every fifth NFT is going to be issued back to the founders of this DAO for the ability of these founders can say, Gensen, you've done such a great job contributing to other members of this community. We want to formally invite you to this DAO. Right.
Fantastic.
And that, I think, is the biggest value, the biggest difference that differentiates us from different projects. I mean, it might be a little early, but I'll shout it out. Metaplex is a big service provider on Solana, and I had a long conversation with their strategic partners, the person head of strategic partnerships. When I was telling about this project, we have DAO docs that we're kind of building. It's a book. Honestly, it's the hardest book I've ever written. And putting these docs together, I had to tell him, like, it's unfinished. Please don't judge. And as he was skimming through it, he's like, wow, this is so different than any person I've ever interacted with. Whatever you guys need, super open to support you guys. So I'm kind of glad to say that we're official partners of Metaplex. And in the next month, hopefully Solana Labs, we're having talks with them. Excited to might be counting my eggs before they hatch, but excited, I'll tell you that. So I hope that answers your question, Ophir, about integrating it with the community. How does that actually see it and it fits?
That's huge. Well, it's huge. It's huge news to hear that these partnerships with like Metaplex. I just want to rewind it though, because you said something there that I want to touch on. Like I'm newer to the crypto space personally. I've only really had like crypto knowledge. I was 6 months. Like I'm new, right? You mentioned Solana. Like I'm more familiar with Bitcoin, Ethereum, obviously in the early days, meme coins, like I knew what Doge was back in the day, but like why Solana? Like what's the deal with Solana?
Sexy, right? Just look at the name, Solana. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, I got gravitated to Solana because I was using Ethereum since, Ethereum was less than $100, and I progressively saw the issue with the gas fees, and there's a scalability issue there. And I paid more in gas fees than I paid in transactions one time. I believe Eli, who's in Lebanon, where Lebanon's financials, the currency completely collapsed. And, we're a global community. So when I went to go pay him, he's like, I need money for Christmas, the banks, all this stuff. I'm like, no doubt. I sent him $200. It cost me $50 to send $200. That's worse than the banks, right?
Yeah.
And with Solana, it was instant. It was a fraction of a penny. Now, the big issue is people say Solana's centralized, right? And you look at, I might butcher this explanation, but I'm trying to simplify it for everybody. Ethereum.
Simplify it for me because you'll lose me quick.
Right. So like Ethereum has, they validate these transactions, and there's so many kind of validations that it's a lot of work for it to validate these transactions and confirm them. Okay. With Solana, what they do, if we were getting that feedback again, with Solana, what they do is they actually get the 20th biggest holders, and those holders are the ones that validate the transactions, which makes things a lot faster. But you're sacrificing decentralization. Okay? So there's a weight to it, and there's like a project built on Solana right now that I absolutely love, and it's called Genopets. And what they do is basically Pokemon Go meets the blockchain, and it's play to earn. So you can battle, and it's skill-based game. I digress. But the way that you earn the currency is by movement. And the more you move, it's called move to earn, actually. And the more you move, the more you generate this currency. And that currency you can invest in your Pokemon. Your Pokemon fights each other. Now, the big issue with them is that they are, in order for them to track your movements, you have to tie it to a Fitbit. Well, doesn't that defeat the point of anonymity of this decentralized, the blockchain? It's like, yeah, but the technology is still functional. So we are sacrificing a bit of decentralization for Solana so that we can, have the developers are really the ones centralized, and they're holding on a lot of the, they're the big holders of Solana's blockchain. But we get rewarded in speed, low transaction fees, and if it comes down to it, just transfer to a coin. You could go to a stable coin. You could go to another coin on another chain on any one of these, big major exchanges. You could trade your Solana for another coin. The point is really being able to transact, right? If I'm able to send you $1,000, whatever you do with that $1,000, whether you change it to US dollars, whether you change it to euros, it's entirely up to you. But I need to be able to give you that $1,000 without getting hit with $200 in fees. And that's why we really went with Solana.
This is beautiful, plain put out. Like I'm feeling educated today. Thank you. I want to go back to the community DAO and just to understand further what means like owning an asset of the DAO within the community. What does it give me? Yeah,
so it gives you a vote. That's really it. Okay. You get two things, actually. Every day an NFT is issued. An NFT equals one vote. And most importantly, any NFT that you have gives you access to the tier, the secret channels that is simply all the people a part of the DAO. Okay? So there are levels to this community, right? You have, when you enter, sure, we have our sub communities where it's more specific interest-based groups from, WordPress, Shopify, entrepreneurs, experts. And then you have the projects, which are these smaller, more intimate teams. And then, a even more private channel is going to be the DAO. So this NFT will give you access to the DAO. And most importantly, it'll give you a vote. And everyone that's part of this community that has an NFT will be able to vote on the treasury in the simplest form.
Perfect.
Yeah. Now,
go ahead.
Yeah. So, there is more. Like, that's not just the roadmap. We're like, we're set and done. I just want to ease into it, right? Because what can we do with the treasury? That's a logical question. Okay, just let's put this in perspective. Every Tuesday, 2:00 Eastern Standard Time, Ophir is hosting this incredible startup booster session. Last Tuesday of the year, we had a company come in seeking a little bit over $250,000, connected them with an investor. Boom, like that's awesome. Now they got funded. They're going to hit their goals. They have support of the community to grow. Now, what if we had a startup that everyone in the community or everyone in the DAO was a part of that startup booster session? Like, this is a great startup. Why don't they're looking for $100,000. You guys want to put this to a vote? Let's grab $100,000 of the treasury and let's put it in this startup. And now this startup makes money and drives, dividends. The payout goes back to the treasury, which at this point, I don't want to say that the treasury is going to issue dividends back to the NFT holders. Like, that's when you get into securities laws. And if you say that buying this NFT, you're going to make money, that you're treating it as a security, and we're doing things right, we're doing things by the book. This DAO is going to be registered in Wyoming because Wyoming is the only state that actually recognizes DAOs as similar to LLCs. But there is so much flexibility and room here. And, I don't know if you're going to ask, but I'm going to kind of jump into it, the roadmap. And these projects all have roadmaps. And if, the DAO docs I'll be releasing most likely in the next quarter, I'll definitely release it before this project launches, but the roadmap. Ophir, you're coming.
We're getting the feedback in Ophir.
Yeah. So the DAO docs, the roadmap, it's not saying we're going to do this 1 month, this next month, third month, fourth month. There's no way I can predict exactly what the members in the DAO want to do. But the docs will illustrate the potential opportunity that we can do here. You guys see this right here? This furlough swag? Would you like a shirt, Gensen? If you're in the chat.
I would.
I would. And you would like, I'm not wearing shoes, but I have furlough sandals. I got the furlough jacket. I just like it. I would wear furlough apparel. I can imagine people in this community will also wear it. So why not, as the DAO project, we say, okay, cool. We're going to grab $10,000. We're going to buy apparel and we're going to set up a apparel store. And then all the revenue that gets, sold and made from the apparel sales goes back into the treasury. And now this fund is generating more funds so we can get more creative and, do some fun campaigns. Right. And that's why, like, I'm not saying the DAO is going to launch furlough apparel, but if everyone decides, hey, that's what we want to do, this is a democracy, a real democracy, not like the United States is a republic. Right. We all have equal votes. Well, it depends. If you have 5 NFTs, you got 5 votes. If you have 1 NFT, you got 1 vote. But we all have equal votes, and those that contribute to the community that are part of this DAO will have a say. And that's the beauty. We have trust amongst us. We will have discussions. And beyond being able to contribute money, we are professionals, and we have a unique set of skills. And these unique set of skills are also additional contributions that we can put towards our investments, right? The startup booster session, we fund a startup using the treasury. Well, what if our DAO has content creators and influencers and email marketers and advertisers, right? And those are more resources we can deploy for the success of this startup.
Right.
So,
one of the things that actually, before we keep going, just in the chat, I'm seeing everyone calling out wanting some furlough drip, getting some furlough merch out there. We've already got it sold, Joe. It's already sold.
We got the hoodie. I love this hoodie. It's so comfortable. Like,
bust it out.
It's just like, we'll get it, guys. Soon enough. Okay. I just did not want people to think that we're monetizing the community by trying to sell merch. I just did not want that. I do not want to make it's like we just got on the entrepreneur subreddit, and we are so legit as a community and a vibe. And they were just the immediate response was like, "Oh, how are you guys monetizing? What is this?" And it's like
they didn't get it.
Yeah, and that's the main reason that we started this, by not trying to sell a course. We were just giving education for free, and yet people think like, oh, more gurus. It's like there's no gurus here.
Not one.
And that's the reason why there hasn't been merch. That's why I paid for merch myself, because I don't want the optics or perception that we're trying to monetize everybody here, because we're not. We're trying to provide value and ask for nothing in return except for your presence and your contribution whenever someone else can, receive help from you, or you can help somebody. So.
Yeah, it was crazy. Just to like weigh in on that, I feel like we can't touch on the entrepreneur subreddit furlough partnership without talking about like it really has put a spotlight on the fact that people look at altruism skeptically, and going forward, it's something that we're gonna have to deal with. But at the end of the day, I'm at least confident that they're going to welcome us with open arms. Nothing but love for the entrepreneur subreddit. If anyone here, the future is going to be listening to this, anyone happens to be in the chat, we want to be a part of you guys' community because we love you guys. We think that everything you're doing there is really great, fantastic community. Back on track though, Ophir's actually hit me with something. He's having some sound issues, I think. Is he back?
I'm good. Now I'm good.
You're good, bro. You're good, bro. You can go for it.
What's going on? So what the missing piece for me is how the avatars kind of kicks in, and what role do they play within the DAO?
The avatars, you're talking about the art?
Yeah.
So it's just like, if it's for most projects, the art is everything, and for me, it's as much. How we feel about design, and no offense to any designers, because if you have a great designer, shout out to Sam, shout out to Tanya, shout out to Ricardo, shout out to Taco. I've worked with great designers, but the focus is the utility. Okay, and we could have easily dropped an NFT collection where the artwork was the symbol itself, and it's a standalone logo. Congratulations, you got a key and a vote. But instead, I figured this artwork. Let's create the artwork based off of people here, and that's what we've done. We've grabbed as many people. We've asked you guys to send photos. We're still developing the artwork. So if you want to be featured in this DAO as your own art, an artistic version of yourself, as potentially an NFT, we're grabbing traits. So there might be my face with Gensen's body and Ophir's hair, and it gets programmatically generated. I know, right?
Oh my!
And it might get programmatically generated, but I want to be clear that the art itself. Once a combination of traits are selected as a piece of art, it won't be duplicated. So truly, every art piece is one of one. And in like these collections, you have one art piece that is far more rare, and another one has way more utility. That's not what we're doing here. Every single piece of NFT that we're having, it's exactly equal, and they're very unique in their own way. They all equal one vote, and they all get you access. That's it. So when you go to the market, and some might be will trade for some over other, and they're just like, oh, it's because they like the art piece or whatever the case. The art to me is just such a small piece of this, but it's necessary and it's fun, and we love seeing creative. And for me, I think the best part is we're creating what's called the playground, where you can actually pick the features of each trait and actually programmatically create this NFT, just the artwork side of it, that we can use as creative assets into marketing material. Or if someone else launches a business and they need to use some design elements, go ahead and use some of our characters. We're going to open source it to people in the community. So I'm excited about that too. That's a fresh announcement. I didn't announce that before.
That's nothing I've heard before. That's wild.
That's beautiful, and I see how we can utilize it within our marketing channels and branding throughout.
Absolutely.
I need a Gensen NFT drop sweater.
Well, that's the cool thing. In the future, can we end up releasing a collection that says like, hey, there's 100 hoodies that we have, and if you have this NFT, you redeem it, and then you get shipped a hoodie. Like, we could have fun, creative ways like that. There's something called sub-DAOs, where this DAO can launch sub-DAOs, which are, it's a little more advanced on this Web3 side of things. And it's basically a DAO within a DAO. And the DAO has direct incentive because it's financing the operation of the launch of this sub-DAO. So there are things in the pipeline. Like when we launch this DAO, I have a lot of influencers in the network. I want to launch an influencer DAO, and I want all these content creators to make them the founders of a DAO, and then make the Furlough DAO also a founder with them. And they go and share it to the audience. And then these influencers with their following, they can decide what they do with the budgets. And you're like, you know what? We're going to rent out a stadium. We're going to rent out Dallas Stadium in Texas, okay? Or the Atlanta Falcons Stadium. And we're going to have all the influencers in this DAO and all the fans to get to meet them in a safe environment. Because, it's all about safety. And these influencers probably don't meet their fans because they don't know them. At the end of the day, they're fans. So that if you have securities and you have the right processes in place, it's going to cost some funding. So it's a great way that I think this DAO can possibly connect these influencers with their following and create actual communities and transfer their audiences and become a community by creating a safe place for all of them to really get to know each other.
Beautiful. And you're really explaining it very, very well. I mean, I wouldn't understand it by myself. If it was written and I would read it, I wouldn't understand it.
There's I'm just watching this chat and I love it. Like, we got a snapshot of Furlough community in action right now. We got someone in the chat talking about NFTs, trying to figure out how it all works. And, right away, Furlough community members jumping into chat, giving her a hand. Shout out to Marie, shout out to Rosalind, Eric, all the people in chat. Shout out to Lorraine. I love seeing it. It's the energy follows us. We don't even need to be on Discord.
I feel like I should address the question though. Because it said, I'm trying to purchase an NFT on this listing page. Don't know which one to purchase. Apparently, the price would go up. Please stop. Just don't. Do not move forward because just that alone. I honestly think that's how you end up losing money, and then you have a bad taste in the space because you're trying to find it. Apparently, it would go up as a justification of making a purchase on here. You're already starting off on the wrong foot, okay? Take a step back. Every NFT I've ever bought in has gone profitable. And the reason why, for example, big in play-to-earn gaming. In blockchain, you're going to be able to play video games, and the game itself will reward you the currency for playing, which you could use for in-game loot, or just like Fortnite, you could buy skins, and then I could sell those skins to another player. So play-to-earn gaming is going to be a big space. One of the NFTs I bought gave me early access to one of the biggest play-to-earn gaming games that is going to launch next year. It went up 5 times in price. I did not buy this because it was going to go up in price. I bought it for utility. So, Marie, I just want you to take a step back and really kind of just take a breather, don't rush, and think about it. Which one is the best? That question is so subjective, and anyone who tells you that can possibly be wrong. So, take a breather there.
A little bit of Furlough community wisdom dropping right in the middle of the live stream. I'm loving it.
I want everyone to win. I truly believe everyone can win. And, I've said this earlier today. For some reason, people think a winning transaction is when I win and the person I transact with loses. And it's like a real winning transaction is when both parties win. Mm-hmm. That is possible. And, appeal to self-interest, right? Understand what your goals are and our goals are and see how we can be in alignment. So if you're in it for that money and trying to make a quick money grab, jump into Discord and I'll give you a little crash course and I'll use data to support these decisions and not my, feelings to take a guess.
It's good. Honestly, it's if you're jumping in and you're going to give a primer on data-driven NFT decisions, I'd probably be there too. I wouldn't mind getting that crash course.
Absolutely, love it.
Right on. Let's see what there's been so much. There's so much we're touching on right now.
I'll go.
I'm overwhelmed, man. I'm overwhelmed. You've thrown so much out there. It's like my whole world's getting turned on its head.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go a little more macro. Let's talk 2-3 years. Okay.
All right.
Because you look at these projects, and these projects, they drop 10,000 NFTs at one given time, right? We're auctioning one a day, every day, forever. Okay. The difference there is for us to have 10,000 NFTs in circulation, it'll be about 25 years to get to that point. Okay. if that's not long-term, I don't know what is. This shows you this is not a quick cash grab. Like what we're building here is definitely a bigger picture, a bigger goal. And this is a way that we can give ownership to those that are a part of this and feel like you have a voice. Because let's be serious right now, if you say I have an idea, like it's cool. And then we could just put it to bed. But if you have a vote and it's immutable on the blockchain and you get other people to say, hey, I think this is a great idea. Or you know what, let's say you're contributing so much to the community and you're finding your currency collapsed and you can't pay rent, but you're such a true player in this community. You would be like, guys, let's issue, can I get a vote? Can I please get paid $2,000 from the treasury because I need to pay rent, my family can't eat? We will support you. We will vote for that because you've been a part of it, right? So it's such a powerful thing that we can do with community. Now, before NFTs, we had currency. We had the cryptocurrency space. And it's like, oh, do we see a Furlough coin in the near future? And it's way too early to drop a coin. We are already transacting. We have transaction volume happening within this community, okay? People are transacting with each other. Now, let's say 5 years go by. Now, within the 5 years, that means 365 NFTs have been issued each year. So it's about 1,500 NFTs. That's 1,500 people that are about it, that are in this group, okay? If we release a coin in that 5 years, let's airdrop it to the 1,500 people that have the NFTs because those are the early supporters. And those are the people that will most likely use it and reward other people. And if we can grow this transaction volume of brands and service providers and businesses really operating here in this community, what is currency? It's a group of people agreeing something's worth something.
Right.
And like, especially with this NFT, like what I'm so excited about is let's say this daily auction happens and we sell this NFT every day for $1,000. Okay. And then, I end up buying an NFT for $1,000 and I have a client that's going to pay me $10,000 for marketing services. I would tell them, hey, look, instead of paying me $10,000 directly, buy my NFT. I still get the money because he's buying the NFT from me. He's still getting the services. The only difference is he just got something of equal value. And what we really did was we made 10,000, 20,000, and we ultimately doubled our money because we have a group of people agreed it was worth something. And like, that's what I think the power is in this community. I think if we execute this right, and there's no way I can do this by myself, there's no way Ophir and I can do this side by side, there's no way us three can do this by ourselves. We need to deploy the full team, the full group here, the community to really make this work, make this happen, do this right. And I truly believe finance it sucks because unfortunately, money makes the world go round. But with this internet money thing, money is being printed and we can issue it. And as long as we agree to it and we really operate with this and support this system, it will be deemed fruitful for everyone that's participating in it. That's a lot to take in, but we have a big plan here. And this is not a next month, next quarter, next 6 months. This is big, 4, 5, 10 years. And like, this is to me, at least my life's work. And
questions, please.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Go for
Why doing it uncapped? Meaning, why continuing to issue a DAO every day, let's say 30 years, and not having like 1,000, this is what I'm going to do? And the second, why doing it also over the weekends?
Why don't it why not? On the weekend question, why not? Why would we stop an auction on the weekend?
Just to understand, because like everything works on weekdays, that's why.
Yeah, the thing is, like, people might be attentive towards it on Monday through Fridays. So guess what? Someone who really wants in on this, they have an opportunity on Saturday when everyone's on the boat and having brunch and they're watching this auction, they can come in and get in on the DAO for $20 and they can really get into this if they wanted to. So kind of making it equal opportunity. Now, what is the reason for issuing one every day forever? It's like, who's to say that, like, I don't want to cap this at 1,000 people here. I mean, if it were up to me, we have 1 million people in this DAO. And every million person, they're all about it because they all feel like they have ownership, because they do. And when it's time to say, hey, this DAO is launching an e-commerce brand, a candle company, and, people are going to be like, I want to buy candles. I have to buy Christmas gifts. We have 1 million people. I know, I love candles. We have 1 million people in this DAO. 1 million people buy a candle for a gift for Christmas. They're going to buy gifts anyways. Like, we can be a launch pad. And I don't think like having more assets in place is like, why would we cap this? And I think with the slow and steady issuing of one NFT a day, we can maintain that growth, healthy growth. And I think the sky's the limit here. So Hope that answered your question.
It did, and I like your answer on the weekends. Actually, I like that. Giving opportunities to the ones that want to exploit the weekend less activity. So
Right.
sure.
Yeah. They're just a couple of days to start with S, right?
For sure.
I'm just gonna tell you, I'm gonna save some money.
I'm buying. I'll tell you, I want skin in the game too. I want to see this treasury grow, and I will do whatever it takes to be a part, like to deploy resources and to even further. This is something I didn't touch. I'm toying right now with, instead of 100% of proceeds going to the DAO, the treasury, I'm thinking 80% can go to the treasury. This hasn't been finalized, and that 20%. Hiring the top talent within this community to be service providers to those DAOs. So by being a part of the DAO, you need a designer. We have one on payroll for you because the DAO Treasury Fund is. You need someone to review your Facebook ads. We have a Facebook ad specialist. Like, we have people, and ultimately the cream of the crop of this community should be a part of this DAO, so that you want to take your business to the next level, deploy the resources of the DAO, which are the leaders of this community, and then we can, once it's approved and there's a consensus, like, hey, we all agree, we're going to support this venture, perfect. And then we deploy the community, all whatever million members, and we can change lives. Like, I definitely, just like this platform is allowing me to speak to all you guys right now, like, there's a difference when we have 10,000 viewers here that are all part of the DAO, and we give the opportunity for anyone to jump into Discord and pitch their business. We can help people here in this community's business change overnight by giving them, like, we're going to put Shark Tank to sleep. Like, Mark Cuban's going to join our DAO when we're done with this.
We're gonna have Mark Cuban feature Friday. I can see it already.
Yeah, it's not Kevin O'Leary. That guy's not invited.
Yeah.
Even though technically he can buy his way in, it's just, we're very inclusive. There's no exclusivity here. Okay. Yeah. All you need to do is really have, you can buy into the auction.
I still think we want to embrace every company and every startup that comes here and not be with the Shark Tank mentality. This is the differentiation of what the community does, and this should be incorporated within the DAO as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if there's anything that I've taken away from my time here so far, it's like a big inclusivity, altruism, like just giving. It's a giving mentality, right? We want everyone who wants to be part of it. We want them part of it. So I can say that with the bottom of my heart. It's been an absolutely fantastic ride so far.
And we're just getting started.
Just getting started.
You, Gensen, poetry.
That's right. Oh, we're getting to dance. We are rounding out the hour, and obviously, you've said it before. We want to respect start times. We want to respect end times. I don't know how do you guys want to wrap this up? Yeah,
if we can, guys,
go for it.
There's no way that everyone that's here right now listening fully grasped everything. So if you guys need me to backtrack and further explain something, I have no problem. So giving room for those in the chat that want to go in and kind of get involved in this conversation, by all means, we're watching the chat. So I definitely want to leave that open invitation there.
But anyone in the chat?
I want to add to that. Just by looking at the chat, I think having a program like once in 2 weeks, Joe, when you speak blockchain, Web3, NFTs, would be very beneficial to the members of the community. I see always the hype and how much people want to get more. So why not?
Yes, I agree. And right now we're finalizing a deal with a blockchain analytics platform that, I'm very excited about. And, hopefully we can make it a strategic partnership to create a space for that, at least until, Ophir, I'm getting that feedback again. At least until right now, I still think it's early for this community. And I think in order to really make the most out of this NFT crypto blockchain space, you need to be making, have skills that pay bills. Okay. Because it takes money to make money in this space. How are you gonna get crypto, all right? You can contribute to other DAOs that they will compensate you for being community managers. I think you could go web3.careers and you can find careers in Web3. You don't need to learn code. There are active people making 6 figures managing Discords, okay? Just putting that out there. But really, I think the place for now, this was a great first real introduction addressing what we kind of have in store for this community. But I this whole time I really wanted people to feel like they were in a comfortable place in the Web2 space, providing services, building their agencies, working with brands, or whatever it is that you guys do, so that you can have somewhat of an emergency fund and a nest egg so that you can take a little investment and get involved in this Web3 space. So we'll definitely get there 100%. And, anytime you guys need little crypto workshops, we'll set something up. We have over 50 events every month in our Discord. Insane. And I've already said, we have a very ambitious goal. I would love for this YouTube to be streaming 24/7, and every day, every hour, there's another panel, there's another fireside chat, there's a workshop, there's a masterclass, there's different sources. And for us to get there, we're going to need to do way more than 50 events every month. Yeah. So to say that they're, Crypto Joe, that's my boy Red Food gave me that little nickname, and I will gladly give workshops and tutorials, whatever the case is, in this space. All you guys got to do is ask.
Woo!
Okay, you're good now.
You were rocking. Tell me, what are you drinking all the time?
What am I drinking?
Hey, what is that?
What's that color? What is this?
Is that Duncan?
Oh, yeah. I thought it's something with fuel or something, man.
G Fuel. Shout out to G Fuel.
Yo, G Fuel combined to the DAO.
My secret is I take a huge dose of pre-workout, and then I just don't go to the gym. So I just hang out with you guys, just amped up. Totally jokes aside, not the case.
Just spin. Oh man, that's crazy. Anyone in chat, please, if you have any questions at all before we wrap up, we want to make sure we're answering anything while we're still on stream. I think while we're waiting for that, like, I don't know, something that I like to ask, like, what are the must reads right now? What are you reading?
What am I reading? I'm reading right here. This is, I committed to this book right now. It's called Nomad Capitalist. Pretty much how to reclaim your freedom with offshore bank accounts, dual citizenship, foreign companies, and overseas investments. So that's what I'm locked into right now. I'm trying to, with the new year, I kind of handle the finances and rolling in. I want to be able to not necessarily be sovereign, but be flexible. I'm a doomer optimist, okay? And with inflation and all the crazy stuff happening in the world, I'm optimistically thinking that we're very positioned right now. But I don't know what's going to happen in the future. So right now, just kind of checking, crossing my T's, dotting my I's. But when it comes down to top 5, I love this list. It's for one, Think and Grow Rich, 13 Principles, Napoleon Hill. Shout out to him. Used Andrew Carnegie's resources to interview all the top successful people in the world. Andrew Carnegie, the railroads, billionaire at the time, richest person in existence. Followed by Think and Grow Rich, which is 13 Principles. I think Jack Canfield's Success Principles. This book is incredible. It's a very hefty read, long, but it by far changed my life, actually. Think a 4-hour work week, just because of automations and being able to outsource. Tim Ferriss, New York Times bestseller, translated into so many languages. Fantastic book. The fourth one, I would probably go with Elon Musk's biography. I thought that was so inspiring as a book to understand that this kid from Africa looking at the stars, going basically on his last dollar, was about to miss payroll on Christmas Day and closed a NASA contract for billions of dollars that ultimately made, Tesla, SpaceX, and Solar City very successful. So strongly recommend that one. The fifth one, it's always been something I've kind of been toying with and playing with. I'm kind of, but if you guys like fiction, Ernest Cline, Ready Player One. God, that one gives you the insight of what the future will be like, dystopian future that they go into the metaverse. And it's so crazy to think that. And if you think about the technology, we're there. Domino's actually opened up a store in the Sandbox metaverse where you can go into the metaverse and order pizza at their store, and then they deliver it, which that's the cool thing about Ready Player One. It shows you how the world is going to be, 20, 30, 40 years from now, where you're at a bar, you order a pizza, and then Uber Eats delivers it, and they frame it a little differently, but super exciting stuff. I like any type of future. You know what? Actually, I'm going to substitute Ready Player One. The Inevitable by Kevin Kelly. That book has made people think I am so smart. I quoted so much.
Right on. It's going on my list.
That one's so Inevitable by Kevin Kelly. So I can list.
I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down, Joe.
It's a great one. So I gotta say, guys, I thank you so much for this and being such great hosts. I look forward to being a part of more sessions with you guys, especially being in the audience. I can't wait to just be able to kind of just spam a bunch of questions when we get some really incredible guests, man. So
honestly, it's been a huge honor for me to be able to host this week. This is the first time hosting a Furlough event. I've got a lot of room to grow. I've got a lot of room to get better here, and I hope I can only make everyone proud, because honestly, I love the community. I love the people. I love what we're doing. But saying that, Ophir, do you have any final statements you want to make before we kind of sign off here? We're rounding out 3 o'clock.
Friday, man, you killed it today, Gensen. So thank you for taking over. And I mean, your voice and your tone is just comes like a background voice in my head all the time. I hear you all day long, and I get used to it. I can't get enough, so keep on pushing, man. So unbelievable session. Thank you so much.
And we will be, I mean, at least I will, we're going to continue this conversation in the collab hall. So if you want that Friday feeling, we're going to keep it nice, light, and fun, and dive deep. Of course, talk to all you guys, Eric, Sajad, Lorraine, all you guys, Ashar, Bruno. Thank you guys so much. I always appreciate you guys seeing your faces. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you to Joe. Thank you to Ophir. Thank you to our community. And everybody, we'll talk to you later.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.